Hello guys, it's me, Greed here. Today, we're doing a Vendetta analysis because that's the new character and I want the views. Anyway, I'm going to start off and say that I like the idea behind this hero. Now, I don't think the execution of the design is absolutely perfect. I think there's a lot of balance problems with the hero. I think there are some fundamental design problems with the character as well. But when it comes to Overwatch hero design, Vendetta is fantastic compared to a lot of the other ones. You know, we got heroes like Lifeweaver, we got heroes like Kiriko, we got heroes like McCree, you know. So I think in comparison to those heroes, I would say Vendetta is actually fantastic. Now, obviously, Vendetta's got a lot of problems, mainly being that she's ridiculously overpowered. She's got a lot of strength, and she's also got a lot of weakness, so she's going to have an interesting playstyle, in my opinion, where I think her weakness lies in that she needs her team to set her up. Do you know what I mean? She's a bit like Genji. Genji can be insanely powerful if his team's setting him up. Like if he's got a Mercy Blue Beam, if he's getting Nano Boost, if he's getting Bubbled, and so on. Or I think like old DPS Doom in that way, where if he's getting the resources, he just fucking fries. And there's nothing you can really do about it. But if he doesn't get those resources, he's easy to shut down. And Vendetta is the same way, where if you're committing to solo engages, you're going to get CC'd a lot, you're going to get booped a lot, you're going to be the main priority for those things. And generally speaking, that should be okay on Vendetta because you've got a lot of movement options. You've got your E and your Shift, which both move you a pretty substantial distance. And you also get a lot of movement speed with your stacks as well from hitting people. So you shouldn't actually be running into a lot of trouble when you are running around as Vendetta. But I can see there being a lot of issues with the just shoot Vendetta moment. You know, go Hog, go Orisa, go Sombra, like all these characters that are good at dealing with people that are moving around a lot. I think Vendetta is going to really struggle into those heroes, as I did yesterday. There were a lot of games where it just kind of felt like you can't really do anything on the hero if you don't get the resources. But if you do get the resources, you are literally invincible and just cannot die ever, which is not a great place for a hero to be. So, let's get into the vital changes for Vendetta that I think she needs when she gets released for her to be a bit more balanced than she is now. So, I've got 4 main issues with the character, them being the health bar, the block, the poke, and the mobility. So, that doesn't sound like a lot. Well, it does. It's kind of the entire hero, but we'll get into it, right? Let's start with the health bar. So, look at a character like Vendetta. They've got 2 mobility options, tons of burst damage, poke potential, block, and so on. They've already got so much mobility and survivability that I don't think she needs as much health as she does. Like, think of a hero like Genji, right? She's got more mobility options than a Genji does, and more defensive options than a Genji does, yet also has half of her health bar being armor, and as more base health as well, because she's 275 instead. I think it's a little bit too much survivability stacked on top of the fact that she's already got so many mobility options and just like the raw survivability of her block. So that's the main problem. I'd probably drop her to 250 with 200 health, 50 armor, maybe, because obviously she's going to get chunked a lot more than a Genji is. A Genji can pick his fights a little better than a Vendetta can, because Vendetta needs to be engaging in melee range in order to actually do anything if she's not using her poke. Therefore, I do understand she needs to be a little chunkier to be able to survive that. So I do agree she needs something, but right now it's too much. It's just way too much armor for the hero. The next problem is the block. The block is ridiculous. It just shouldn't be in the kit to begin with. It's got charge on it, so when you're holding the block, it can only take so many hits or so much damage. I think it's based on the amount of hits it takes, not the amount of damage, but I'm not sure, that may be wrong. So it's 75% damage reduction on a DPS character that's already got that much mobility and armor. That is too much to me. That is prime power creep. This hero does not need to like this level of survivability in her block. She doesn't need the block at all. You should be trying to make it so that the people playing the hero learn to survive through good decision making, not just raw stat gapping the enemy team because you can block so much damage. It just does get a bit silly when you're just like hardcore engaging the enemy team and they can't really do anything because you're just holding your block button down. It just becomes way too much. Next problem, poke. I think the poke is too good. I don't think it should give you the stacks. So the stacks are that number in the middle of the screen where when you do damage to someone, you hit them with your sword, you get a stack. And a stack is, I believe, 10% additional per stack, where it's movement speed and maybe attack speed. I think, I know it's movement speed at least. So that's a big deal. You can already run people down hard. So if you're in the front line building stacks on a tank, you can then like hardcore engage with your 2 mobility options into the back line. And even if you get booped, you can just run people down with that base movement speed, especially if you've got like even like a Lucio diving with you. No one can get away from you. It doesn't matter how much you get booped, you can just keep running people down forever. And yeah, too much, way too much in my opinion. And honestly, next problem is the mobility itself. Obviously, I've gone over basically everything so far, but the actual mobility is just fucking ridiculous. Like, take a look at this clip. So obviously, I'm rolling out a spawn here, so it doesn't mean that much, but like, imagine that I'm engaging on a backline with this level of mobility and survivability and my block and how much damage I do. It is egregious. So I think the main thing you gotta change here is that distance you get when you throw your sword. When you throw your sword, you are so far. I don't know the exact numbers on it, but it's way too much is all I know. So probably cut it by like 30%, probably, maybe more, probably, I think 30% would be a good place to start, just so she can't just fly into the backline with that level of ease, because it is just way too strong to be able to just go whoop, and you're just in the backline and you're killing people and you do so much fucking damage. Yeah, big mobility cut down, big survivability cut down. Change the poke so it doesn't give you the stacks, probably. And that's probably like most of the changes I'd want to do. But I've got some other problems with Vendetta that don't necessarily apply to her design or her balance. So, on to bugs and features, because I'm not sure which this one is. So, first problem is the overhead swing does not register when I feel like it should. Now, this is either a registration problem or it's a game feedback problem, where the game gives you feedback with like the bright colors and the indicators and so on, and everything looks like it should hit, but the actual way the hitboxes are coded is saying, actually, that's not a hit. So yeah, the visual feedback is telling you, yeah, you've hit this guy, look at the big light in front of you, your projectile almost is saying, yes, hit. But the game, the way they've done the hitbox, or the way they've done how the damage works, or the way the damage is calculated, or whatever, is saying, actually, no, that's not a hit. And that's a big problem. I don't know what issue it is, whether it's registration, and it's saying, actually, that should have hit, but it didn't for some reason, or if it's actually, no, that's correct, that didn't hit, but the indicator's saying, or the visuals are saying it did. Either way, I don't know what it is, but that needs to get changed immediately. Second problem I have with Vendetta is her general left clicks before the overhead swing, those two like left clicks you do not have the range I think they should. They look like they should hit things that are farther away because your sword looks huge, but in some cases you don't. So on that Lucio clip, I'm like, yeah, I should obviously be hitting that guy, but that's at the very edge of the hitbox. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like it should swing a little bit farther than that. And I think if you allowed her to hit a little bit farther, even just like 0.2, 0.3 meters farther, that's going to change the whole flow of the kit. It's going to allow you to do more. It's going to allow you to take tank trades. It's going to allow you to, just the way you engage is going to be, it's just going to be better. And yeah, so that's Vendetta. I like the character. I think a lot of problems, but also a lot of things that are relatively easy to fix, in my opinion, hopefully. Anyway, have a good day. I love you dearly. Tell people that you appreciate them. I'll see you later. Okay, goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Goodbye, goodbye.